Olyan, az benne volt jó. Namaste, Dr. Rajan.
Namaste ji.
Namaste.
Namaste, Dr. Rajan.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Muito útil também lá. Obrigado.
Namaste, Dr. Rajan.
Namaste ji. Namaste everyone. As usual, we begin with 3 ohms. Let's take a deep breath in. Om. So the usual disclaimer, when you participate here, it is with the understanding you take responsibility for your good health and doing appropriately so that it doesn't adversely affect you, whatever you do over here. So the key watchword for you is to adhere to the yogic principle of doing everything with very mild effort. Yoga is not about a workout. It is about stimulating the communication between the trillions of cells in our body, what we call the nadi communication. So making sure whatever you do has to be done with gentle stimulation. If there is strain or stress in it, the communication gets blocked. That is why all effort has to be very mild. Keeping that in mind, make sure the back is straight and watch your breath. If the breath is slow and smooth, then everything in the body and mind will be slow and smooth. If you find the breath is becoming rapid or irregular, it means that the body is also following the same way, which is a bad idea. So body and mind will follow the breath. So keeping that in mind, ensuring that you don't do anything that will affect you negatively, and if you find at any point in time something that is bringing you discomfort, immediately stop the practice. Just observe your breath till everything calms down before you resume. If you have a question, of course, related to that, and if we are unable to get an answer during the session, you can stop the practice completely. But on the other hand, if you have a question you can ask in the middle because something is feeling uncomfortable, that's fine too. So here we begin with the understanding the outcome of this practice. The liability of that is entirely yours, and a life in yoga stands absolved of any liability. So with that, let's begin with the chakra vibrations. I don't see anybody new here in the listing here, so I presume everybody here has been here before. If there is anybody new, please unmute yourself and say so, or you can put a note in the chat box. Okay, so we'll begin with the chakra vibrations. Bring your awareness to the perineum, and pressing on the little finger with the thumb, we do Lam. 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 Release the fingers and continue. Lam. 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 Now we bring our awareness an inch or so above the perineum, This the spot behind the place where we urinate in the middle of the body. Focusing there and mentally trying to squeeze over there, pressing on the ring finger, we do VAM. 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 Release the fingers, continue. Bring the awareness an inch or above behind the navel in the middle of the body. Pressing on the middle finger, we do Ram as we draw in at the navel. Ram. 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 Release the fingers, continue. Ram. 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 Now, bring the awareness to the middle of the chest, in between the breasts, and here we do Yam, pressing on the index finger. Yam. 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 Yum. 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 Release the fingers. Continue. Yum. Bring the awareness to the throat, and here we do hum, thumbs up with a loose fist. Hum. Hum. Release the hand. Continue. Middle of the head, we do chum, thumbs up, loose fist. Chum. 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 Now bring the awareness to the top of the middle of the head. Focusing there, we do the sound vibration Om with thumbs up and loose fist as the mudra. Release the hand. Continue. Last time. Now we go on to the Ujjayi Pranayama, the happy face breathing. Those of you who know it, please proceed, and those of you who need instructions, bring the awareness to the lowermost part of the mouth that connects into the neck, specifically the hole through which food and air passes down. Keeping the focus on that hole, make a big smile. As the cheeks come out in a big smile, you'll find a slight stretch in the lowermost part of the mouth. Focusing on that stretch, inhale and exhale in slow, deep, long breaths. As you inhale, feel a mild sucking sensation, and when you exhale, feel like a reverse sucking sensation. And remember the rule of yoga, there can never be any strain in what you do. The effort should be very mild, and so mild that you can be simply focused on the throat and watch the breath move and be in complete meditative focus. Now, let's do shoulder rotations. As you inhale in Ujjayi, lift up the shoulders, and as you exhale, rotate it back and bring it down. Last inhalation. Last exhalation. Now, bring the focus to the lowermost part of the spine Sorry, not the spine, lowermost part of the sternum. And from behind there, visualize a rising vibration going through the middle of the body and out of the top of the head. So from behind the lowermost part of the sternum, visualize a rising column that is feeling, you visualize the vibration, Haim Em Haim Em feel the flow, Haim Em Haim Em Haim Em And there is no correlation with the breath. So the breath can be like the unconscious breathing where you're not even aware of it like most of the day. Now, bring the awareness to the lungs in the mid, in the chest area, and mentally vibrate Haim, 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 and feel like the lungs are vibrating Haim, Haim, Haim. Now, bring the awareness to the middle of the chest and feel a flowing vibration to the middle of the body going out of the top of the head. And that vibration feels like home, home, home. Now, we'll just vibrate Haim Nam. And this is for the extremities, the hands. Stretch out the hands and keep it in a restful way on your knees or wherever you like. And mentally vibrate Haim Nam, Haim Nam. The second syllable is Nam, N-U-M. Now we can go on to our spinal alignment exercises, starting with the neck. As you exhale, gently tilt your head, bringing one ear towards the shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, tilt towards the other shoulder. And inhale, come back up. And continue. Last exhalation, inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, turn the head and look over one shoulder. Inhale, come back. Exhale, turn and look over the other shoulder. Inhale, come back and continue. Each exhalation you turn. Last exhalation, inhale, come back. Now as you inhale, take the head all the way back, and as you exhale, bring the chin down towards the chest. Inhale back and exhale down. Last exhalation. Now we go 360 degrees around the neck. Inhale, half a circle, and exhale, complete the circle, and continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Then we go in the reverse direction. Last inhalation and last exhalation. And now we go on to the hand exercises. Stretch it forward. As you inhale, lift up the palms, stretch out the fingers. Exhale, thumb in, downward facing fist. Inhale up and stretch. Exhale down and continue. Last exhalation. Now let's go around the wrist. Inhale half a circle and exhale, complete the circle and continue. Last exhalation. Let's go reverse. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Elbows in line with the shoulders, hands in a loose fist. And as you inhale, open out the palms and exhale, close the fist and bring it down. Continue. Inhale and exhale. Last inhale and last exhale. Let's do reverse inhale and exhale. Last inhale and last exhale. Interlock the fingers and bring it behind the head. And as you exhale, twist to one side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, come back and continue. Last exhalation, inhale, come back. Now, get hold of the elbows behind the head. And as you exhale, pull on the one elbow, inhale, come back up. Exhale, pull on the other elbow, inhale, come back up, and continue. Last exhalation, inhale, release. Now we bring our hands behind the back. Get hold of the elbows behind the back. Take a deep breath in. Pull back the shoulders, expand the chest. And as you exhale, twist to one side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, twist the other way. Inhale, come back. And continue. Last exhalation, inhale, come back. Now get hold of the hips behind the back. And then as you inhale, push on one hand and make a backward arch. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, push on the other hand and make a backward arch. And exhale, come forward. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now we can cross one leg over the other, and as you exhale, pull pull the knee to the opposite shoulder and turn the head the other. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull and turn. Last exhalation. Inhale, release. Now, let's cross over the other leg. Exhale, pull. Last exhalation, pull and turn. Inhale, release. Now, we can stand up and we can do the pelvic bend. So, get your hands behind the back. Get hold of the elbows. Take a deep breath in and pull back the shoulders and lift up the chin. Take it as you exhale, push the butt out, lean forward from the hips. Inhale and exhale into the stretch. Slowly inhale and come up. And you can take your seat. And now we can go on to rotating both the shoulders. Inhale, lift up both the shoulders. Exhale, rotate it back and bring it down. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now we go to the alternate nostril breathing. Whichever nostril has less breath, begin inhaling from that nostril and continue the alternative nostril breathing. So if you inhale from one nostril, visualize the path crossing over to the opposite side, and when you complete the inhalation, it lodges in the middle of the forehead, in the hairline, and as you exhale to the other nostril, feel a mirror image coming out. Inhale from that nostril, complete the inhalation there, exhale to the other. Do it with that visualization. Now, we are ready to go on to the first round of Bhastrika. So in Bhastrika, we begin with exhalation. And as you exhale, feel like the lowermost part of the sternum is being pulled in. When that happens, the belly will go in, the chest will contract, and also feel like the neck is squeezing out and the head is empty. So you will find you're exhaling completely. When you inhale, feel like the lowermost part of the sternum is pulling out. The belly will come out, chest will expand, shoulder will pull back. So with that motion, we will exhale and inhale. Now, the hand can be used, but that is not a traditional requirement. If you are using your hands, make sure the inhalation position should be elbows, shoulder are down and elbows are down. And the exhalation, when you begin the exhalation, after full inhalation, you're like this. Inhale. Don't lift up the hand like that. Then the shoulder will pain. Just lift up the elbows a little bit and pull back the shoulders. And when you exhale, you close the fist first and then come down, because as you inhale, you open out the palms, and exhale, come down this way. So let's begin with exhalation first. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 10. Exhale. 11. Exhale. 12. Exhale. 30. Exhale. 40. Exhale. 50. Exhale. 60. Exhale. 70. Exhale. 80. Exhale. 90. Exhale. 20. Exhale. Take a deep breath in through the right nostril. Hold the breath and observe the sensations within, and exhale through the left nostril. Now, we are ready to go on to our spinal mantra. So here we go. We do the 7 mantras from the feet and ankle to the knees to the lowermost part of the spine, which is in between the buttocks and the back, and then the lumbar spine, the thoracic spine, the cervical spine in the neck, and then in the back of the head, in the very top, called the shikha point. The mantra for the feet and neck are the same, that is Aim. Now let us begin from the feet and ankle with mantra Aim, moving to knees where we vibrate Shim, and move on to the base of the spine where we do Jim. Aim, Shim, 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 Jim. Now we move from the base of the spine to the lumbar region, then to the thoracic or the back region of the spine with Jim, Jaim, Haim. So let's go. Jim, Jaim, Haim. 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 Now we move from the thoracic spine to the spine and the neck to the back of the head with Haim, Aim, Om. Let's go. Haim, Aim, Om. 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 I'm Om, 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 I'm Om. Now we do all the 7 mantras in sequence, starting from the feet and ankle. I'm Shim Jim Jaim Haim I'm Om. I'm Shim Jim Jaim 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 I'm Om. I'm Shim Jim Jam 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 Ham 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 I'm Om. Now let's go on to the next round of Bhastrika. Let's begin with the exhalation. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 inhale. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 10. Exhale. 11. Exhale. 12. Exhale. 13. Exhale. 14. Exhale. 15. Exhale. 16. Exhale. 17. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 20. Exhale. Take a deep breath in through the right nostril, hold the breath and exhale through the left. Now, let's go on to one more round. Let's begin with exhalation. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 inhale. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 10. Exhale. 11. 12. 13. Exhale. 14. Exhale. 15. Exhale. 16. Exhale. 17. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 20. Exhale. Take a deep breath in through the right nostril, hold the breath and exhale through the left. Now we get ready for meditation. So today we will do the meditation in a special way. Many of you know Ashok Batra, who normally joins us. He had some urgent heart-related surgery, I guess earlier today or yesterday. So when we meditate, we simply meditate in our usual way, but except that, we can all think of ourselves as one unit. And in that meditative connectivity, Alka Batra, who will join us, she can make whatever affirmation she wants to heal her husband. So the reason we do it this way is that people who are family members, it is okay for them to do this without any dharma violation. But for others, if we do make that intention, it may have an impact where you draw on the karma of others, right? So we will help Alkaji to go deeper into meditation so that she can make her own affirmation. So here we go. Mentally tell yourself, I give up all ideas and concepts and I care about nothing. I let go of everything. I let go of everything. I let go of everything. Feel the shoulders become lighter. Your head may also feel a little lighter as you let go of everything. If you have a personal mantra, before you focus on it, mentally think of the whole group over here and feel yourself fully connected with everybody in the whole group here, and then start your personal mantra. For people who don't have a personal mantra, visualize a rising vibration from behind the lowermost part of the sternum, going through the middle of the body and out of the top of the head. And that feels like 3 syllables, Haim, Em, Om. And we will have Om playing in the background. mentally affirm to yourself, may I be fulfilled to, may I be guided to fulfill the purpose for which I am born. And we can also become aware of the senses from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the feet. Let us hope Alkaji was able to have good meditation and make the right affirmations to heal her husband. With that, we end the meditation by looking straight into the palm of your hands when you open your eyes. Now, in our regular Sunday session, we discuss questions that have come up, and the two subject matter that we will discuss today. The first is what did we do? Why did we do the meditation in the way we did for Alka Batra? See, when people get married, from a spiritual sense, something very interesting happens. In the solemn affirmation of marriage, two people's karmas and kleshas, all the programs within, they become one and they get equally distributed within the two people. So within the Sanatan Dharma understanding, they become one unit, and their karmas, whatever there are, duties, everything, they diminish by living through the life in a dharmic way. And in the end of the life, you leave the body and both people leave with fully exhausting all the karmas and kleshas, and both will leave at the same time. And you'll find very few cases where the spouses expend their karmas and kleshas together and leave at the same time. Now what happens is, as part of this spiritual system, typically men are given the sacred thread, and a second strand of sacred threads get come in at the time of marriage, just before the marriage. And the idea is, the man who is doing the japa, 50% of the japa is for the wife. So the meditative component of all the japa that is done, all the meditation that is done, goes half of it to the wife. So this is the spiritual concept. Now what happens is, practically speaking, of course, people get married, they make the solemn affirmation, but thereafter, if people start thinking of them as an individual being, as opposed to a collective unit of the family, husband and wife, then what happens is, each person start expending their karma in their own way. And so one person expends it one way, the other person the other way. So at the marriage, when it became equalized, it had, when people lead their individual life thinking, it goes in different ways. So now, typically what happens is, when anybody is undergoing any difficulty in life and that kind of thing, yes, people think in terms of group prayers and things like that. Group prayers and things like that, when they are done, anybody who, the key important thing is, you don't take the karma of another person on you. So the only people who are allowed to take then work out the karma are family members. And that is the reason that we help the family members to increase their meditative connectivity. But on the other hand, if you start making the intention, you can draw on and take the karma onto yourself. So that is the reason we wanted Alkaji to have a stronger meditation, so that she can make the affirmation to heal. And I have no doubts that, Ashokji will come back restored in health. over the next few days. So that is the reason we asked for the way it to be done today. Too many people don't understand the spiritual significance of marriage and how it works through. This is supposed to be the tradition, but then, the way it has unfolded in modern times is a different matter. So now we can go on to the next subject, which was the question that was suggested yesterday, to understand the role of Hatha Yoga relative to the entire yoga system. To understand that, I have to go into the history of yoga. So that is the subject for today. But before I go transcend into this subject, is there any question from anyone related to the concept of marriage and the flow of karma that I just described? Feel free to unmute and speak up. I hope you can unmute. Let me see. Yes, of course, you can unmute and speak up.
Dr. Rajan, you said after the marriage, the karmas and kleshas between husband and wife get entangled together and equalized, and they should then pass away at the same time, but that rarely ever happens.
Yes. That
so
is
how
because,
do we explain that?
Yeah, that is because people work individually instead of thinking as one unit.
So practically less than 1% of people are not working. They're very rare to see people die together unless it is a big accident or something like that. So
Yeah,
the
actually,
vast majority of people are not doing it.
Exactly. The thing is, you see, what is interesting is the key part that is element you will find is, in very rare cases, you will find one spouse passes away, the other within another a few days or a month, they will also pass away. So that is the case when the entire, they became truly one unit in the spiritual sense. That's when it happens.
Doctor, in the books, whenever the Pandits talk, they say the husband's wife, good things don't go to the wife, but the wife's virtues go to the husband. How is that?
So you just stated, if I'm not mistaken, that the virtues
whenever
of
the wife does something good, half of it goes to the husband.
Yes.
But the husband does good does not go to the wife.
That's not true. That is not true.
Many times I have argued with the Pandits, why not? So, but this is the way it is. Shastro mein likha hai aisa. What is the answer? I don't know.
That is not true. That is completely not true. And that is the whole reason why, at the time of marriage, the husband is given a second strand of three-string, sacred thread, because that is for the wife. So every job, everything the husband does, 50% of it goes to the wife.
I'm very happy to hear this today. Yes. Because I have argued with the Pandits for this. The answer is always, Shastro mein likha hai aise.
I will give you a little bit of a sense of this right now in the next discussion as to why this kind of a decadence and, what will I say, degenerated kind of thinking has come about. Okay? See, what has in the history of yoga, you can understand is the spiritual communion from the body, mind, and spirit into the source of everything, right? That is what yoga is all about.
Yes.
And so if you look at its history, and if you look at the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali as the summary explanation of what yoga is all about.
Yes.
Historically, we know for a fact that the Yoga Sutras was written before Vyasa wrote the Brahma Sutras. You know, Veda Vyasa, when he wrote the Brahma Sutras, the Brahma Sutras were the knitting of the message of the Upanishads that Vyasa wrote together. And the philosophy expressed in the Brahma Sutras is called the Vedanta philosophy. And it is said the Bhagavad Gita contains the same kind of philosophy as the Upanishads, which is expressed in the Brahma Sutras. But that is considered the last philosophy among the chronology of the 6 ancient philosophies. The oldest ancient philosophy is called the Sankhya philosophy.
What?
The original Sankhya may not be available anymore. Sankhya, the oldest. And this was authored by a rishi called Kapila Muni. Kapila. And then after that came Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Nyaya has been authored by the famous Muni called Gautama. And Vaisheshika is authored by the famous Muni called Kanada. And then, of course, comes the Purva Mimamsa, that is the old Mimamsa philosophy, which is the Vedic religion. Unlike the Mimamsa philosophy and Vedanta philosophy, which are attached to the Vedic religion of doing the fire-based worship, the others are pure philosophy. That is Nyaya, Sankhya, Nyaya and Vaisheshika and Yoga are all pure philosophy. So after the Mimamsa philosophy comes the Yoga philosophy, the 5th chronologically, and last of all is considered in the chronological, the Brahma Sutras of Vyasa. So you can imagine the Vedic hymns existed even before Vyasa. Vyasa simply brought them all together, right? So you can say the Vedic hymns are older than all of these. But then the compilation of the Vedas and the coming together of the Brahma Sutras that Vyasa wrote is after the Yoga Sutras.
Yes.
Okay? So you can understand that if we are going to date when all of this happened, the dating is associated with Mahabharata war. And why is it associated with Mahabharata war? Because Vyasa was there at that time.
Yes.
Right? Vyasa was the one who gave the Divya Drishti to Sanjeeva because Dhritarashtra didn't want it to see what was happening in the battlefield. Right? And Vyasa was the genetic, father of Dhritarashtra as well as Pandu.
Yes.
And also, of course, also of Vidur, right?
Yes.
So the thing is basically, the Vyasa was there at that time. So when we look at it from that perspective, today, there is reasonably good dating of the Mahabharata war. Why do we say there is good dating of the Mahabharata war? Because today, thanks to the work of many people, actually from Houston. In Houston, there is a whole group over there what's his name? Raj Vedam. And then there is Dr. Subrato Gangopadhyay. There is what is her name? Sahana Singh. And various other people have together done work. But one of the best work has been done by a person called Nilesh Oak, who is from the Boston area. So these people have done a lot of work together to dig at various elements of the facts, which include, astronomical dating. But then, of course, we also have dating related to the sunken Dwaraka as to, so there are many, many points of dating that have come and scientific dating. And so today we know the Mahabharata is probably something like, 5,300, 5,400 years old or so. So because we can date that, we can safely say the Yoga Sutras is at least 5,000, 5,400 years old. Okay? So once we come from the dating of the Yoga Sutras, now let's look at the dating of the Hatha Yoga documents. And remember, but there are many Upanishads which are considered the Yoga Upanishads. Okay, Yoga Amrita Upanishad and various other Upanishads that are there that are considered Yoga Upanishad. These are all old ones, but the compiled summary of the yogic wisdom is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali that goes more than 5,000 years old. Now, compared to that, what are the books that relate to, or the writings relating to the Hatha Yoga? Well, the Hatha Yoga texts go back barely 500 to 1,000 years back. Okay, so what are these texts? We talk of Hatha Yoga Pradipika. We talk about Gheranda Samhita. Hatha Yoga Pradipika was written by a sage called Swatma Rama. And we talk about, besides Gheranda Samhita, Shiva Samhita. We talk about Goraksha Shataka. You know, the Goraksha lineage is very interesting. There is a whole lineage called the Nath Panthis, all the Nathas. And in fact, Gorakshanath is considered the patron rishi of Nepal. In Nepal, they have, Goraksha is considered, and, a highly evolved Muni that they worship over there. So but you know that in UP there is a place called Gorakhpur that is very close to the Nepal border. So that area is named after Gorakhnath. Okay, so all of these people you're looking at within the past 1,000 years. Okay, so the Hatha Yoga system, as it's written down, is barely 1,000 years old, whereas the Yoga Sutra goes back 5,000 years old and more. Now, what has happened to the philosophy? Philosophically, the ancient 6 philosophies that were there, after, and of course, the Vedas were compiled and the Vedic Sanatan Dharma was enunciated by Vyas Muni. Now, coming back, after that, what happened? In the history of India, you have the coming of Jainism and you have coming of Buddhism. The common element of Jainism and Buddhism is they negate the Vedas. They don't accept the Vedas. Okay? And then, of course, after that comes, after Jainism and Buddhism, then comes the Hatha Yoga texts, right? So the question is, what were the philosophical changes that happened, and what came, how these later aspects of yoga were different? Okay, the answer is this. You see, first we have to realize why it is that the Vedic system was negated by new thinking, and why Jainism and Buddhism came along. Okay, the reason is because attached to the Vedic religion is something called Tantra. Tantra Yoga, or the Tantra element, is the basis of how you are able to use intent and move things beyond the body. Like, for example, when we do meditation and we connect beyond the body, that is Tantra. When Alkaji makes the intention to heal her husband, that is Tantra. Okay? When collective energy is done to motivate something, that is Tantra. So, when, for instance, when somebody passes away and you do rituals for them, and as part of that, you give dana, you give to priests who come over there, you give them dana. The priests are supposed to do japa for the departed and to offer. It is called karma dana. In effect, what it means is the priests are supposed to take on the karmas of the departed, and then they are supposed to do their own japa in order to get the karma out of their system. That is why the concept of dana exists, right? So now what happens is, through this Tantra, some examples that I gave you right now, aside from that, Tantra is the basis of all the major yajnas. You have heard about the Ashwamedha yajna, the Rajasuya yajna, and all of these kinds of yajnas. And all of these yajnas were done to increase the political power of kings. Right? So, through the tantric ways, you are increasing the political power of kings. Now, the later tantras that came are including if you want to do harm to your enemies. And all of these, the tantric methods that come along. Now, of course, if any of you have read the book related to the Himalayan masters that Swami Rama has written about, he will talk about how an avalanche is coming down the mountain, and mentally the yogi stops the avalanche till people all go away. It's like everything is stopped over there. The people all go to safety, then the avalanche comes. Now, of course, what happens is, we have ourselves experienced previously that when we were doing retreats and the snow is going to come, it is predicted to come at 2 in the afternoon, between 12 noon and 2 in the afternoon, and we all make the meditative thing till it is finished, let it not come, and the snow literally delays till about 6 or 7 in the evening. It gets delayed by about 4 or 5 hours, and only then the snow comes and everybody goes through safely. So this is the expression of Tantra, the nature of it. So what happened was, now Tantra can be evoked by many ways. Tantra can be evoked when you are a pure soul and you connect in with the power of intention, you can evoke Tantra. But when there is purity in the soul, you will never seek to hurt another person, and at the same time, you will not seek to violate the cosmic flow, which is the Shashvata Dharma. Because our goal is to protect Dharma, that is the cosmic flow. So we will never do anything like that. But on the other hand, Tantra can be evoked by mantra, and priests who can evoke by mantra and mudras. So these are the people who can evoke it by mantras, and mudras are called tantris. Okay? So what happened is, a lot of these things were secretly kept within various families, right? Now, one of the very interesting Tantra yogis we have today is Jaggi Vasudev of the Isha Foundation, right? Now, the Sadguru Jaggi Vasudev, it is very interesting. If you have ever seen him do a program, if you have ever met him, when he is interacting normally, his cosmic connectivity is not very high. But on the other hand, what will happen is, before he speaks and he does any this thing, he has his mantras and tantras, and you will see he will be saying something to himself, his hand will move like this, and immediately he becomes highly connected. And in that connected stage, he will speak, and he will speak with cosmic wisdom, right? So what happens is, with tantras and mantras, people can evoke that cosmic connectivity. And so this, when these tantras and mantras are kept secret, and when they use this for worldly elements, right? This was the thing that resulted in people who came from the Jainism background and all of them. Hey, if the purpose of life is to fulfill the cosmic purpose, and then the eventual result of that is, by doing your dharma, finally you reach the point where you're released, you have moksha. Then why are you all people trying to go and do for worldly benefit using tantras and mantras, right? So this misuse of tantras and mantras is what created, and people trying to keep it a secret within their families and things like that. This is what created the negativity that came out and said, if this is what it's all about, we don't need the Vedas. And that is how the Jain philosophy and then later the Buddhist philosophy came. So now Jain philosophy is not really atheistic philosophy or non-theistic philosophy in the same degree as Buddhist philosophy is. The Jain philosophy does believe in the cycle of creation, the vibrations and all of that, this thing. Now what happened was, by the time the Buddhist philosophy came, remember when is the Buddha? Buddha is about 543 BC, which means going back around 2,500 years back, right? So around this period of time, the philosophy that were developed, the Jain philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, along with them, they took the old 6 philosophies that were there. With Nyaya and Vaisheshika together, they created a new philosophy. They took components of Nyaya and components of Vaisheshika and created a new philosophy called Nyaya Vaisheshika philosophy. And at the same time, people who were influenced by the Buddhist and the Jain philosophies, actually they combined elements of yoga philosophy from the Yoga Sutras and some from the Sankhya philosophy of the Sankhya, and they created the Sankhya Yoga philosophy. Now, the Sankhya Yoga philosophy is a non-theistic philosophy. There is no role for God over there. Whereas the Yoga philosophy is a theistic philosophy. So the Sankhya Yoga philosophy is neither Sankhya nor Yoga. And so this non-theistic philosophy that took elements of Sankhya and Yoga and created the Sankhya Yoga philosophy came during this period of the Buddhist time. And so that is the philosophy that influenced Hatha Yoga that came on much later on. So when Hatha Yoga came along later on, there were many things that transformed in Hatha Yoga from the old system of yoga. In the old system of yoga, there is clearly associated with the Vedic system. The elements of yoga include the Bhakti Yoga elements, it includes the Tantra Yoga elements. So all of these are part of it, right? So now, in the post-Buddhist era, what is the nature of Buddhism that came? The nature of the original Buddhism of Buddha is now what is followed in Sri Lanka and in some of the Southeast Asia countries. And that is called the Theravada Buddhism. The Theravada Buddhism is the system of Buddhism where they don't believe in God and they negate, and everything is in fact, life is useless. That is the idea of Theravada Buddhism. So the only useful thing you can do is dissociate from everything material and become join the monastery, shave your head, and just seek relief from everything worldly. Their worldly duties are irrelevant and useless. That is the concept of Theravada Buddhism. Now, Mahayana Buddhism, that is the Buddhism that came later, that Mahayana Buddhism actually believes in spirits and all of that. And so the concept of that spirit that sustains all of creation, the name given to that is Avalokiteshwara. Avalokiteshwara is the equivalent of, like, you can think of Durga or Prakriti. That is the concept that comes in Mahayana Buddhism. So now what has happened is, and Mahayana Buddhism believes in Tantra. Okay? So Tantra element is part of Mahayana Buddhism, but not part of Theravada Buddhism. Okay? So after this is when comes the Hatha Yoga philosophy or the Hatha Yoga system. So within the Hatha Yoga system, it is very much influenced by the physical aspects of the body, and at the same time, it brings in the concept of Shiva and Shakti. But the concept of Shiva and Shakti is not Ishvara. It is much lower down. Shiva is a literal person who was inhabiting the Himalayas in that area. So Shiva is a spirit, not God, not the source of all creation. Okay? So the thing is, basically, this is how the Shiva Samhita has been written, where a conversation between Shiva and Parvati. But on the other hand, the concept of the gateway to going beyond creation is called Bindu in the concept of Hatha Yoga, as well as in the concept of Tantra. And all of creation is called Nada or vibration that brings everything. And basically our body also has vibration, Nada. So we are able to do various things to cleanse and create that. This is how the Hatha Yoga system has evolved. physical being as well as the vibration of the physical being focusing and going towards the Bindu. Now, in the Tantra system, Bindu is the gateway to go beyond outside creation to Ishvara. Whereas what has happened is, in the Hatha Yoga system, they have become so much focused on the body, and influenced by the Buddhist system. The Hatha Yoga system believes that you should be celibate, and you should use your energy of the what will you say, the sperms and all of that, to elevate yourself to go, and they even think of the sperm as the bindu that has to rise up and go up through the top of the head, kind of this thing. So this Hatha Yoga system is something that has come as a result of the philosophy of the Sankhya Yoga system, heavily influenced by Buddhist system, with an integration of the Tantra, this thing, but everything worldly. And so in the Hatha Yoga system, what happens is, only the male has predominance. The female is useless. So Vedji was mentioning over here, so that is how this system has come, the degeneration coming. So essentially the Hatha Yoga system is a degenerated understanding of yoga, right? So that is why in Hatha Yoga, we only focus on the exercises that are useful. But the philosophy of Hatha Yoga is degenerated, and we should go back to the Yoga Sutra philosophies. And that is why whenever we work with yoga, without the anchor in the Yoga Sutras, every yoga you perform is degenerated Hatha Yoga. Okay? So with that as the thought as to how the question that was raised, what is the relationship between Hatha Yoga and the original yoga system, this is how we have to understand it. Any quick questions? We have exceeded our time, and then we can close out. Okay.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you so much. Very good. And we understood really.
Doctor,
It's a whole
when
lot.
was Manusmriti written?
okay.
Dr.
When
Rajan,
was
thank you so
Manusmriti
much
written?
for the special prayers and the explanation that you did about the marriage and all. Thank you. Appreciate that.
We wish all the best, and I intuitively sense that there should be no problem. He will come out well in all of that.
Thank you. Your intuitions are very real and correct many times.
Thank you, Ji. Namaste.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So Sundaraji, you were saying something, it got lost.
No, I was saying there is so much to absorb here. I'm trying to get it all in. It was wonderful. It was
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Namaste. See you all.